My next race is the Houston Marathon. Last week was my peak week of training for that race. I ran just under 75 miles last week with an interval run, a tempo run, and a long run. Okay, so this video I'm going to go over all the details of all of those runs as well as the easy runs that I did throughout the week. I guess I wanted to start out by noting that I am not a coach. I don't have a coach, and I also don't give coaching advice or coaching plans. So everything that I'm going to talk about in this video is just what I do and my experiences and why I do those things. If you're looking to get more information, I got a few books here that I really like. Hanson's Marathon Method, Advanced Marathoning, and Daniel's Running Formula. I find that those are all great resources and I've gained a lot of information and knowledge from those. I take a lot of those concepts and try to apply them to myself in my own training, but I don't follow any of those specific plans. But if you're looking to get some more information or to follow one of the plans, I think they're great references. Beyond that, probably is best bet or recommendation to look into hiring a coach if you want more advice on training. Okay, so with that, I think I'll go into starting off with my last race was CIM. So in Sacramento, ran that just I think just over 3 weeks ago. That race was just under 2:48, so that was about 10 minutes or 11 minutes off of my PR from October. So not quite a full effort. Still felt pretty good after that race. So I went right into the next week and started off training. Didn't end up having any days off because I was still feeling good at that point. So the week after the race, I ran 65 miles, and then I still felt good after that. That was really just all easy running. So then the following week, I ran a total of 71 miles and jumped kind of right back into training with workouts and long run included. And then the next week after that one, which is last week and what I'll go over in more detail, like I mentioned, ran a total of 74 miles with 2 workouts and a long run. Okay, so jumping into the runs that I did, I'm going to start with Monday's run. So Monday was a normal easy run day. Typically, that's always the case with my schedule. Looking at that one, it was just over an hour and 140 BPM on my heart rate. That puts me in the aerobic endurance category. So that's zone 2, pretty comfortable, easy running, normal out and back route that I run. That goes just across the Mississippi River and back to my house. Okay, getting into Tuesday is the following day. That is normally my interval day. So on Tuesdays, I like to run a workout that involves repeats. This week it was 3 minutes on and 2 minutes jog. I did 8 reps. That is a pretty typical workout for me. So I try to run this one around 5K pace with the intent to try to improve VO2 max. So VO2 max is a measure of the maximum amount of oxygen uptake for your body. This is seen as one of the main limiters within aerobic endurance performance, which essentially applies to all long distance running. Anything above a couple miles or 5K is going to be mostly aerobic. The reason that I do intervals is to try to maximize the benefit and the most amount of time spent at that VO2 max effort, hopefully with a minimum amount of pain and suffering that you go through to get that. So you could run at VO2 max by running race pace at VO2 max pace, which is probably close to like a 2-mile all-out race for me, but then you'd probably end up only getting somewhere around 10 minutes at that amount of effort or that stimulus, which really isn't that long, as well as that's just going to be brutal to try to run that on a regular basis as a workout. So with the intervals and the 3-minute reps, I'll usually do 8 of those. That gets me 24 total minutes of work. with the intent that most of that time is going to be close to VO2 max effort. It takes a little bit of time to build up to VO2 max. That's why the rep has to be more than just 1 to 2 minutes long. And then the 2-minute recovery allows for some rest, but not full recovery in between each one of those reps. I guess the other note is I like to do my intervals based on time instead of distance. I think that helps better provide a consistent amount of effort that I would put in, or a consistent amount of work as my paces change over time. And I think that also applies to as you look at workouts that other people are doing and try to compare them for yourself. It's easy to look at half-mile repeats as something very similar. Depending on your fitness level, that could be exactly at 3 minutes. It could be 2:30. It could be closer to 2 minutes. It could be closer to 4 minutes. So if you're seeing 8 reps and you're at a 4-minute half mile, that's going to be a significantly different amount of time than if you're at 2:30. Even just for me, I have noticed that over time, as my paces have increased, say I've gone from 3 minutes for a half-mile rep down to 2:45. That would be over 8 reps. I think that's about 2 minutes less, so 22 minutes of work compared to 24 minutes. So just by keeping it at 3 minutes instead of doing it based on distance, that helps me get a consistent workout each week. Okay, so that workout was for Tuesday. That ended up being pretty much as I would hope, anaerobic endurance range for the pace zones there. And then getting into Wednesday, again, this is another easy run, the exact same route that I ran on Monday. It was, again, about an hour. This one came in at 145 BPM for my heart rate. So again, within that zone 2 range, feeling nice and easy. And then getting into Thursday. So Thursday is the tempo run, pulling that up. That one, again, was on the exact same route that I ran on Monday and Wednesday, so pretty boring with the routes that I do. This one is one that I like because one of the aspects with this one is that as it goes down to the river, there's a slight net elevation drop. And then it's an out and back, so turn around and come back, and it's slightly uphill on the way back up. So what that does, especially with the tempo run, is it allows me to really dial in the amount of effort that I'm putting into the run. So with the tempo run, there's a lot of different ways to define what tempo effort is. That could be right at lactate threshold. I feel like some people also apply it to everything from marathon pace, even and sometimes faster than threshold pace, depending on what the workout is. For me, what I like to do is around 10K, and I started out somewhere around half marathon effort, so a bit faster than marathon pace, but not something that is too challenging. It feels like something that I can sustain for a while. Even I would say normally it's slightly easier than a true lactate threshold effort. And again, with my route going slightly downhill on the way out, it allows me to really focus more on dialing in the pace, hitting consistent splits, and then as I get into that on the second half of the run where I'm coming back towards my house where it's slightly uphill, that's typically where the effort will ramp up. I find this works out really well because then I can ensure that I go into that lactate threshold range and that type of effort that I want to hit. It allows me to do somewhat of a progressive type run where I am getting into that threshold endurance building type work, but it's something that's manageable. I don't end up going out too hard out of the gates. It is something that I try to make sure that is sustainable, at least in the first half, and then I will ramp into the second half with a hard, fast finish if I'm feeling good. That's pretty much exactly what I did on this run. So it was very consistent splits throughout the run, with the second half being slightly uphill, the heart rate pretty much pegged right around my threshold heart rate. And then the last 0.2 to get up to 10K, I pushed it a little bit harder, and that was just 15-20 seconds per mile faster than the previous few miles, and that helped make sure I had a solid finish on that run. Okay, and then getting into the Friday run again. Looks like this one is on that exact same route. Again, about an hour. Heart rate on this one came in at 142 BPM, so that's still within that zone 2 easy effort. And then looking into Saturday's run, this one was the long run, ended up being 21 miles. No specific workout within this one, but what I like to do on my long runs is really just try to help me get ready and prepare for the race. So I think sometimes people will do a dress rehearsal on some runs before the race. I like to try to keep this in mind on almost every long run. So even though this is winter in Minnesota, I'm not necessarily wearing my race kit, my singlet that I normally would, but I would do that very often during the summer to try to find out exactly what gear I'm gonna wear for the race. And that could be which tights I want to wear, how I'm going to store my fuel, the singlet, headband, sunglasses, kind of all of those components, as well as fueling. Even in the winter here, that's something I definitely try to dial in as much as possible with these runs. I ran with a handheld bottle of Martin. I typically do that within my marathon races, so it's great to get used to having a bottle in hand when I'm running. So that's what I did on this long run. Ended up doing, again, my normal route. I just did 2 loops this time. I ran with a bottle and exchanged it for the second loop, so I did 2 total bottles. And then I dropped the second one back at home and did a few extra miles to get up to that 21 total mile. Okay, last note on the long run. This was a fast finish long run with a little bit of a push at the end. Ended up around marathon race pace. Okay, I think that is just about it. Only run left for the week was then my Sunday run. This one I ended up doing on the treadmill. I think it was just mainly due to the weather, trying to avoid the rain and if there was any slippery conditions with any ice out on the roads. Always good to have the indoor option available. This one ended up being almost 90 minutes, just over 10 miles. It was in the recovery heart rate zone. Kept it around 134 BPM average. Definitely like the treadmill option on certain days, especially if my legs are feeling a little bit tired. I can just start running, and it's really easy to stop at any point, and really no concerns about overdoing it if you're going out on if you went out on a run on the road and getting caught somewhere far from home. When you are feeling pretty beat up or pretty tired. So love having that option, and it worked out well this week for my recovery run on Sunday. Okay, with that, got a few weeks left till Houston, but that is it for my peak week. Again, it was 74 miles. I did intervals on Tuesday, tempo run on Thursday, and a long run on Saturday, as well as easy runs on all of the days in between there. Okay, hope that was interesting, and like always, thank you for watching.